channel, as you may have noticed, I have Freo gear on. It's the Year 12 Pajama Day AFL broadcast, so might not take the opportunity to wear my Freo gear, considering one of the derby. So let's go through what happened last week. So, stinker of a fancy round. So, 6 tips right, I tipped Adelaide. Collingwood actually quite good in the end. Then, I tipped Melbourne. That was a good game. And shame was overshadowed, but Fremantle absolutely belted West Coast. I was not expecting a belting. I was expecting West Coast to lose, but really, why? But not surprising, considering it's a Doc Modi Doctor country. Then Carlton beat Gold Coast. Hawthorn beat Essendon, surprise. Tipped Sydney and actually paid dividends. So, tipped Western Bulldogs, Brisbane, and the other tip to get wrong was the North Melbourne Secure game. That could have gone either way, but Nazar Miller's decision, Ross Lyon to put him up forward, worked in the end. So just so you know, in this tipping video, I've got another thing happening today. There's going to be an AFLW feature. In this one, it's in this week. I'll tell you all about it soon. But what was it? Shut up, you stink. So let's have a look at what's come this week's. Let's have a start with what's happening with the first game of the round. It's Collingwood taking on Geelong at the MCG. Here for First Night Football. I'm surprised are now backing up and running. They've got a few more wins in the bank, and they've got a bit of an easy fixture coming up. They play Geelong, then they play West Coast, and then Hawthorn, which is going to be tough, and then the Brisbane Lions. So this run will probably be the making of the Pies in September. Remember, on the other hand, Geelong, well, they came off a ridiculously bad injury list to beat the D's. Let's have a look at. Let's have a look at injury count. But I've lost Patrick Dangerfield with a groin issue. I don't think he'll be right for this game because it's only a 5-day turnaround between. Actually, a 7-day turnaround. Probably might make it. Depends on how bad severe the strain is. This should be a belter, mind you. I think. I'm going to tip Geelong here, not because they're Collingwood, but I think they have a better chance to win. They tend to play very well at the MCG. I'm going to tip Geelong by 6 points, and my big call is that Bailey Smith racks up the fantasy points against the Pies. He did earlier this year. I think that they will win. That they'll kick. That Bailey Smith will get 140 plus. Then we had to Friday Night Football at Optus Stadium. We had first time in a long time. It's Fremantle taking on the Western Bulldogs. Well, it's going to Fremantle. Well, they absolutely belted the living crap out of the West Coast Eagles. Eagles in the Western Derby, where I was expecting it to be a bit more closer. But having said that, Fremantle hit their straps. Western Bulldogs, well, they needed that win over the Tigers. They pretty much cruised past, and Richmond were quite tired, admittedly. And to be honest, that margin could have been a lot more worse than the scoreline would suggest. Then again, Western Bulldogs have been weird this season. Fremantle, last time played was on the Friday night slot. It was a very good win. The Doggers are thankful it's another standalone slot. I'm going to tip Fremantle here. I'm going to tip Fremantle by 20 points. This is off the stadium, and it's also a retro round this week. And big call is that Jai Amos gets 30 points. Kicks 3 goals. Then we head to Marvel Stadium for St Kilda taking on Sydney Swans. Well, Sydney, they've they broke their bad form slump, and they had a bit Well, they just didn't have a great game. They had a very good game against the Giants, as you expect. Means that Sydney Derby is now theirs. St Kilda, well, both teams are on good run form. St Kilda got its ass into gear against North Melbourne and are probably going to make finals. But having said that, though, it's going to be a very close run thing. But Sydney have a good record against the Saints. They beat them earlier this year. We get to see these double up fixtures again. I'm going to tip Sydney here by 15 points. Big call is that that Brody Grundy registers 30 plus hitouts because they might have no Rowan Marshall because he was out with back spasms last week. Then we head to Tasmania for the first game since the historic whacking that they copped. It was the Tasmanian Derby not the Tasmanian Derby. It's It's Hawthorn versus North Melbourne. Well, North Melbourne, the kicking cost them again against they really cost them against St Kilda, and things don't get easier. They play Hawthorn. They have a very hard run home. They pretty much play all top 10 sides. They play Hawthorn this week. Next week they take on Western Bulldogs, which they can win. Then they've got Geelong as a doubleheader, which we'll be expecting a fixture in the next few days. Then they've got Sydney and that's going to be pretty daunting. This upcoming bit for the Kangas. This is going to be the making of them. But I don't think they'll win at UTAS. They've had a notoriously terrible record at UTAS Stadium. I think I can tip Hawthorn here today. They've improved a lot more. They've improved a lot more than what happened last year at this venue. Biff by 5 points. And you're probably wondering on the fixture, how come that's 2 Saturday night games? Well, we've got a fixture. I'm just going to prepare it for you guys because right here on the channel, it's the NAB. We're approaching the NAB AFLW season, and it's time. It's Australia taking on Ireland for the AFLW representative match. The Australia versus Ireland at North Sydney Oval, 2:15 start Western Standard Time. Well, it's going to be a thriller of the fixtures. The Irish players in the AFLW have played very good footy in the league, and the Aussie, and they've played in the few of the most recent premiership winning sides. Example, North Melbourne, and the Brisbane Lions, and they're big teams. So let's have a look at the lineups because nobody haven't released yet. So the captains for this one are Jasmine Garner and Orla O'Dwyer. Yeah, and I seriously think it's going to be a very good fixture. I'm very surprised this was not booked originally at SCG because it's available. I think because they don't have a game at the SCG this week because Sydney is playing. There's only one game in Sydney. That's the Ireland game. I'm surprised that's not at SCG or for that matter NG Stadium. But I want to pack the house, so that's going to be regrettable. But I think I'm backing the Aussies here. Yeah, they've got a good side, the Australian side. I think I'm going to tip the Australia to win by 5 points. I'm a big call. There's Jasmine Garner steps up as the captain and kicks 2 goals. Then we head back to the AFL regular programming. We head to Saturday night fixture for a weird 4:45 start. It's Port Adelaide taking on the GWS Giants. Well, this is going to be a belter. Then very interesting for the case of wildcard week for wildcard weekend. Giants have had a weird season. They've lost to Sydney. They've lost 2 on the bounce. And yeah, that's only played was at Manuka and Giants didn't show up at all. But Port, they've lost injuries. They've got Horn Francis back, but they might have lost George Hayes again due to concussion due to that idiot strike from Ty Gallop. I'm going to tip the Giants here, but 2 points. This should be a good game. And the big call is that the Toby Benford kicks 2 goals. Then we head to the other Saturday night game. There's AFL, so it's big AFL Fest day on that Saturday of the beginning of August. It's Brisbane taking on Carlton. Well, the teams have dramatically changed since the last time they played. Michael Voss's last game was against the Brisbane Lions. And really, why does this deserve to be a terrible side? It was a 21. It was an 11-point loss in the end. Carlton have came back a lot, but they've been belted with Josh Roach against the great sides. I think I'm going to tip Brisbane here. It's going to be. I think Brisbane win by 5 points, and my big call is Patrick Cripps racks up the disposals again. Then we head to Sunday football, and it's a morning game, and it's gonna be shit. Richmond versus the West Coast Eagles at the MCG. Well, I'm surprised. Good thing that Richmond moved this game from. This game would have been played at Marvel if they decided to sign that deal with Tasmania. So they're very lucky this is not Marvel, the Eagles. But Richmond they were terrible against the Bulldogs. They were tired, and but luckily now they've got an 8-day break between games. West Coast. Best not to be said about the Derby. They were atrocious in the Derby. Mind you. And I hope they win this game. They're serious. They need a win. Last time I tipped them in this fixture, it backfired spectacularly. But I'm going to tip them again. I'm tipping West Coast here by 2 points. It should be close. And my big call is Warman kicks 5 straight. Then we head to the Channel 7 game on the Sunday. We've got Gold Coast Suns taking on the Melbourne Demons. Well, Gold Coast season's over officially. They need to get into. They can't get into wild card anymore, and they need to get their ass into gear again. They just. And then you put in. Just gonna go via predictor. Just bear with me here. Reset. Round. So, let's see. So if everything goes Gold Coast way, they can still make it, but they've been shit. Even though they've got Petrarca, it's the Petrarca rematch. Melbourne have been very good this season. They've been one of the surprise packets of the season. I think the D's can get it done here. I'm going to tip Melbourne by 15 points. A big call is that this Jefferson unnamed very well for fantasy kicks 4. Well, then we head to the Sunday graveyard. It's Marvel Stadium. This game should be at the MCG, but they couldn't. It's Essendon v Adelaide. Essendon was shit. Simple as that. They were quite terrible against the Hawks, and they got smashed big time. Adelaide, they'd come off a gloss of pies, but they expect that they might have Tex Walker for this game because it's going to be a 10-day turnaround. I think the Crows can get it done here by 35 points, and the big call is that Phil Thorpe kicks 4. That's the end of my tips this week. I hope you enjoyed my Fremantle Stealth Kit. I hope you have enjoyed your week, and I'll see you next time.